So, test is going to be Friday. We'll start the next unit Wednesday. It looks like the next unit is sort of a continuation of this notion. We're going to be looking at two more families of graphs. Polynomial functions, which includes straight lines and parabolas, which you're familiar with, but we're also going to look at x-cubed graphs. And then we're going to look at sinusoidal graphs, trig functions. And then in the second half of the next unit, it's going to be, again, me, Brianna, giving you a bunch of data like this and using our technology to do some type of regression to figure out the best fit equation. Then the final unit is going to be looking at finances, which for you guys, I'm glad we cover it in grade 12 because we're kicking you out of here. You should know how loans and things work. All of you will take out at least one significant loan in your life, usually. It's a mortgage. I guess it's not all of you. Some of you may rent. I still rent, for that matter. Or a car, or both. So that's the year end. That'll get us through the year, I think. I think 21 more classes, counting today. Yeah. And then you guys are gone. Hasta la vista. Out of here. Have a nice day. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Oh, maybe I shouldn't sing that about you. Okay, here we go. Who's going to take all of your places? I like teaching. I like you guys. Brandon's math teacher decided to play a dice game, blah, blah. Okay, I see 36 students. I see a chart. Looking at part A, it says, using a graphing calculator or some other technology, find the equation base E exponential regression. I got to type in this data. Menu, stat. You need to know where your menus are. So the two menus we're using, mine are in different I think your stat menu is location 2, but your graph menu I think is location 3 right here. So mine is location 5, but we're using stat and graph. Don't get mixed up this dynamic or this table. There are other ones that look the same. Read the titles. Anyways, menu 2. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 36, 22, 16, 10, 7. It looks like as we roll, students are getting eliminated. I'm going to hit graph. Oh yeah, Matt, you know what that looks like? Why, that looks like every single exponential graph I've ever seen. That looks like what or like what? Or this is a decay graph. So I'm going to do a calculation. And I'm going to do an exponential. Now, you guys have one extra screen. You can pick either base B or base E. We've decided so that the newer calculators have the two options. The older calculators, I think, only have base E. So that all of our answers look the same, we're going to force feed our calculators into base E. So my equation, is that right? Looks like that, I think. This is a fairly good, is that what you guys have or not? Did I make a typo? I didn't even check. Okay. My R value is 0.99. Negative because it's going downhill. It's decay, but it's close to 1, close to -1. Tells me my data is fairly good if I was doing research. Here's my template. My template is y equals a e to the b x. Except this question said use n for number of rows. A is 34.878. If you went 34.9, that's fine. To be honest, if you went 35, that's fine as long as you copied the equation accurately on your graphing calculator. Times e to the, what's b? Negative 0.406. X is n number of rolls. So for 2 marks, hang on, I'm probably going to answer. Have I made a mistake?
Wouldn't it be R for number of rolls?
Oh, R for number of rolls, because that's why I said R for number of rolls. Thank you, I did make a mistake. For 2 marks, I would give you 1 mark if you have the 34.878, 34.9, 35. I would give you 1 mark for that, but I would take a half mark off if you left X's and Y's in your equation, if you didn't actually follow the instructions and put an N and an R there, because follow the instructions for Pete's sakes. Does that make sense? There's my equation. And I'm going to Copy. Enter. Menu, graph. Don't forget to select that equation, turn that on. Part B now is going to ask me to do something. Oh, and same with part C. Approximately how many rows until you know what? I need to graph this. I need to change my view window. X is the number of rolls. 0 to what's the maximum number of rolls? Well, I got up to 4. You know what? I don't know how many rolls I'm going to need. I'm going to guess 10 maybe. I hope. I don't know. That might be too many, in which case I'll go back and change it. Y is the number of students. The fewest number of students I can have is everybody's out. And what did I start with? What was the maximum number of students? 36. You know what? A nice round number above 36. 40. Up by 5. 37 is fine. Draw. Hey, that looks good. Now I can answer the question. 2 students. 2 students. Students. Is that N or is that R? N. That's a Y value. So I want to do a Y calculation. No. I want to do an X calculation because they gave me a Y value. You have no idea. It took me a while to come up with something that worked out almost evenly. 7 rolls, just past 7 rolls. But approximately how many rolls? 7 rolls. 1 mark for that. How many rolls until 1 student is left? That's going to be the same procedure. G solve. I want an X calculation when Y is 1. In other words, how many rolls until someone wins? Apparently, 9. So I did say round to the nearest roll. If you were running this game in Las Vegas and you were trying to budget how many people could get through this game per hour, you'd say, okay, on average, after 9 rolls, this game ends. You could actually use this to be fairly consistent in your mathematical modeling and then figure out how many people you could get through, how much money you can make off this game. This would be a dumb game for Las Vegas, though, because it's not that interesting. But letting you know where they use this. Is that okay? Well, then turn the page. Oscar! We'll have to harass him later. Purchased his favorite hockey card for $8 in 2005. And he's been tracking the value of the hockey card. Who's my NHL fans? 2005, who would have been Rookie of the Year? Wayne Gretzky? Really? I know more about that than in hockey. And I'm not a huge hockey follower. 2005. There was a lockout. There you go. Is what happens when I make up random numbers. There was a lockout. Thank you. You know what? If you did manage to get a trading card during a lockout season, I'll bet you that would be worth a chunk because they might have published them before the lockout. They'd be rare because it'd be a rookie, and then the following year they'd still be rookies. Okay. He's been tracking the value. Here's what he's found. You know what? Menu. Stat. Somebody told me you can just hit delete a bunch, and that's almost faster, isn't it? Okay, you guys found, you know what? You're the first group to have found that one out. I've always gone delete all, but that is way faster. If you just keep hitting delete, over and over, it just deletes all the data very, very quickly. Maybe only on the new ones? Doesn't do it on the old ones? So delete all. Okay. Anyways, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 13, 22, 40, 72, 124. Always double check to make sure you have the same number of data points, same number of X's, same number of Y's. Otherwise, you're going to get an error. Now, they want me to do an exponential, not logarithmic, so it's going to be base E. Graph. Oh, it's increasing in value. Calculate. Exponential. So A is 7.63. Try that again, Mr. Dueck. Times E, that strange number, to the power of 0.555. What would be a good letter to use for my X coordinate year since purchase? What would be a good letter to use there, Zach? Because I asked you to. What would be a good letter to use there? Why? Because I asked you to. What would be a good letter to... I'll never get tired of that joke. You only got a few more days of that. Anyways, sure. I'll use a capital Y because I'm worried if I put a lowercase y there, I might think it's the graphing Y that we're so used to. So I'll put a capital Y that stands out. Years. What would be a good letter to use for value? I'm going to give you 1 mark for that, 1 mark for that, but I would take a half mark off if you actually used Y's and X's. Put good letters there, makes sense. I don't care what letters. Yes? Okay, I won't take a half on this one, but you know what? We can make it easier. Like, my worry is, and no pun intended, why would you put Y there when that one begins with a Y and now you've increased your chance of getting these mixed up? Why? I couldn't have planned that any better if I'd wanted it to be that many Y. Anyways, yeah, right? I can prevent mistakes by picking good letters. So yeah, okay, I won't take marks off on this one because I didn't specifically say. Oh, I better copy the equation. Copy. Menu. Now I'll do the rest in my graph menu. Don't forget to select it. Pick a good view window. Years. X is years. 0. How many years am I going here? 10 years. So I'm going to start out maybe going to 12 years. Go up by 2s. That's a total guess. Value 0. What's the maximum? 500, or does it get worth more than that?
Yeah, it gets worth.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna do it wrong. I'm gonna say 500, and then I'll adjust. Let's go up by 50s. Draw. Ooh. The fact that I go off the screen here says I need to change my view window. Maybe go up to 1,000. Pardon me? You can totally zoom out, and I'm okay with that. I just like to try and take nice numbers and a guess. But yeah, I'm more concerned with can you find the data points. So yeah, you could go zoom and hit the out button. The only problem is, do you have a newer or older one? See, on the older ones, the way it guessed for the zoom was ridiculous. It would zoom out like 1 trillion times, and you'd see a little smear for a graph. So I wasn't a big fan of using the auto zoom features. They may have improved the software. Anyhow, Rachel, let's answer the questions. And if I need to go higher, I will. Oh. Remember I said this is important. 6 months. What is my time measured in according to this question? Years. So this is going to be G-solve. I do want to do a Y calculation, but what's X for 6 months? 0.6, really? 6 months is 0.6 of a year? It's 0.5, folks, because there's 12 months in a year. After 6 months, it was worth $10.07. I'll come back to that. If you did 0.6, you're going to get zeros on all these questions, and you can always redo the quiz for full marks and be grumpy and fix it. 18 months, why, that would be 1.5 years. 18 months is a year and a half. Now it's worth $17.55. 30 months. I wonder if it'll actually let me go 30 divided by 12. Hey, it will. There we go. I can even have it do the conversion for me. Is it $30.58? Mm-hmm. 42 months. Because that's what you're doing to go from months to years, is you're dividing by 12. 53.28. 10 years. Okay, now we're in years. $1,969.08. Wow. After how many years will the card be worth $500? Okay, that's going to be an X calculation where Y is 500. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. 7.5 years. Darian, 0.5 of a year. How many months is that? 7.5 years. 7 years, 6 months. There you go. 1 mark for each of those, please. We did 2 exponential graphs. What other function have we looked at during this unit? It's inverse, which was the logarithmic. I'll bet you the next one's going to be an ln, a logarithmic regression. I bet you. Hey, there it is. Facebook was launched in 2004 and has been growing ever since. All right, 10, 22, 44, 60, 65, 72, 79. 1, 5.5, 50, 175. Be very careful when you're typing. Make sure you don't make a mistake or a typo, because that's going to gum everything up. Graph. Calculate. Okay, it looks like that. Now, that kind of looks like a exponential, not a logarithmic graph. Although maybe not. To be honest, as I'm thinking about this, I have a feeling now what I should have done is reverse these columns. I think next year I'll put the y's where the x's are and the x's where the y's are, but we'll see here. Because I think if I go calc, logarithmic, I'm getting a pretty lousy r value. Is that close to 1? Well, kinda. 0.77. It's close. But it wasn't the 0.99s that we were getting before. Oh well. What's my equation? So it's going to look like this. Y equals a plus b ln x. The number of users in... I'm going to use... they're both number and number. I'm going to go U for users equals...
It gives you one on A.
It gives you... Oh, never mind. It does give me number of users, capital N, equals... What's A? Negative 615.82. Negative 615.82 plus... What's B? 220... 0.98, 222 ln m. Again, 1 mark for that, 1 mark for that. Draw. Yeah, there's my curve, there's my data. How well does this fit the data? Not very. But we'll commit to this question and I'll fix it next year. I was typing this up in a hurry, and I have a feeling what I might have done is reverse the columns when I was stealing this from another question from an older textbook. Oh well, we're committed. Logarithmic. Copy. Here. Menu. Graph. View window. Number of months. Looks like the highest. Did we go past 79? Let's see. 4 years is 48 months. You know what? I'm going to go to past 79. I'm going to go to 100 months. I don't know. Y is million users. You would have started with 0. I know that much. And then looks like the highest we get is 750 million. Is that right, Mr. Dueck? So what's a nice number bigger than, you know what? I'll go to 800. Go up by hundreds. Sure, that works. Draw. Oh. I do this every time. I wish I'd done that on purpose as a reminder. Sadly, I did not. Okay. In what month? Month. That's an X calculation. Did we get N of 200? Month 39, round to the nearest whole number. 39th month. Barely. How many months until Facebook has 750 million months? That's an X calculation. when we hit 750? Not found.
It's way off the screen.
Yeah, it's a huge number.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something we wouldn't even think of.
It's okay. So I need to go to the right more. So let's try. Honestly, if I'm not sure, I always guess really, really uber big, and then I can always zoom back. And I'm going to go with a scale of hundreds. Draw. Does that get me 200 million users? Let's see. Gsolve. Or sorry, 750 million users? Okay, it does barely. Now that I would look at this, and now I would say, if I really want to, nope. Scale, sure, I'll leave it at going up by hundreds. Gsolve, X calculation, in theory, 470 months. I like the fact that it almost works out evenly. I'm just not wild that it takes that long. And this is where I think I got these columns wrong. This graph is not an accurate graph based on the data. This, Carson, is where that low R value of 0.77 is saying, you better be a little skeptical of the results of the predictions here. But anyways, 470 months. Darian, how would I convert that to years? Divide by what? Yeah, that's saying 39 years in the future. It grew much faster than that. How many users did Facebook have after 2 years? Okay, now they're giving me an X value. So I want to do a Y calculation. Am I going to put in a 2 here?
No.
Why? What's the time measured in the X in the chart? So 2 years, 24 months. 80. Did it say what to? I'll go 89.7 million. If you said 80, if you said 90 million, that's fine. I didn't tell you what to round to. After 4 years, that's 48. I hope, yeah. 243.5 million. I'll call it 244 million, but I didn't say what to round to. Is that, am I right? I hope. Okay. Give yourself a score. Each of these is worth 1, except for the equations are worth 2. I hope I did the math right. Give yourself a score on the quiz out of, count them, 18, please. So folks, last class, I also assigned lesson 6, the practice test. I don't remember which questions I'll have them here in a second, but I'll start out my usual, hey, any questions you want me to go over from the practice test? Now is your chance to ask. Or you know what? I'm going to give you folks about a half an hour to work on this, and then I'll take questions. Let's do that. And I'm going to do at that time, make sure I do my, I like this question, I like this question, I like this question, little dealio.